Alright, thank you guys. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. I do appreciate it. Thanks, Eagle and Jay. It's always appreciated. Thank you very much, guys. Eagle and Jay, Powers USA, Less Music, and the Midnight Manufacturing Company. Thank you guys again for joining me tonight. Yes, this is what we said to be as a Dan cast. So, with me, Dan, obviously. And for you beautiful lurkers who are out there watching this, thank you very much for joining us again tonight. So, we got a few things to cover tonight. The very first of the upgrade surveys have been sent out, and the next survey that's going to be sent out probably by the end of this week is going to be about the extruders. And I know a lot of people have been asking me questions about the extruders, and most specifically, for those of you who are unaware, we have the EMO25, which is the emulsifiable extruder, which prints with clay, plasticine, sugru, and porcelain. So, which are all these guys that you see right back here. So, and the other version is what we've been testing with, and that's the Mark 1 extruders. Now, the Mark 1 extruders are supposed to be only ABS and PLA, but we've been testing a few other types of materials through it, most notably nylon, and that's what we were getting into last night. But we still need to have a little more stick time on there before we can actually okay it and make sure that it says it's all right. So, oh yes, thank you. Yes. This was a little piece of nylon, as you guys can see. It's nice and flexible, and this is
shown the test.
Okay, yeah, and this one was cooked pretty badly, as you can see right here. There you go. So, if you guys don't have the correct settings dialed in, you're going to get a texture like this instead of one that's like this. So And yes, this is nylon. This is Talman 618, 1.75 millimeter, and we were able to get. I mean, this is just absolutely beautiful. It's actually almost translucent a little bit, so you can see straight through it. But if you you guys can definitely see the differences when it comes to Talman 618, which we think they did a wonderful job making this. That if you don't have the right temperature settings on your extruder head, you're gonna have a bad time. So that's one of the biggest things. We also threw in the ABS that was giving us a problem, and I'll grab that just for a second. And here's another thing you guys can learn from our experience. So here in the south, humidity is pretty bad, but we've noticed that ABS, pretty much if it's left overnight, within 24 hours is going to absorb a lot of the humidity and water vapor in the air. Well, we took it and we threw it in the oven, and the ABS came out okay, but the spool, on the other hand, well, I got a little bit of a heating special. So if you guys are looking to do this with your own ABS reels, beware. Know that it's probably not the best thing, because this type of plastic that was put in is not the same type of plastic as ABS. So, but we'll be providing, when we ship this stuff to you guys, we'll be providing some bags as well. So, but a simple Ziploc freezer bag, big freezer bag, probably about a gallon size or so, it's going to be just fine. And you guys can use some desiccant, and you'll be able to keep your ABS nice and fresh. So that's another saying that we say down here in the south, keep your powder dry. But I think that's more universal than anything else now. Alrighty, we have been printing quite a bit, and I mean a lot. So this is all the ABS juice that we have left.
You'd quit drinking it, man.
So we've been printing at the Storm, and those three pieces that we showed you guys earlier, there they are. This is PLA. Now, PLA by itself is very, very, very hard stuff. I mean, it's pretty robust stuff. The problem with PLA that we found, that Carl found when he was printing, is that PLA, if you guys have ever used, or if you guys have ever made candy, and Carl gave me this analogy, that if you're trying to make like peppermint sticks, this stuff comes out like peppermint, okay? Where it's still pliable even though it's on the actual base by itself. And that's one of the secrets that a lot of 3D printing companies are actually using out there, is they're using fans that are on the area, that are blowing air onto the actual PLA to cool it down fast enough so that you can put your next layer on top of that. So we just so happen to be, one of the things we talked about a little bit earlier was actually a fan version where you can actually redirect your air wherever. And this guy really cooks. He really cooks with the gas. Really works well. So, and it fits into one of the slots, and you can get your PLA cooled off very quickly. So, which is very nice. But this stuff is nice, but it's got some issues. Now, with the I'm sorry, this is the ABS stuff. That was PLA. So PLA, ABS. With these types of parts, the ABS that you see right here, as we get better and better printing with this, oh wow, you can actually read some of the characters up there. Kind of Inception. The glassy finish on the bottom is quite nice, and the layers that you can see right here worked out quite nicely. Now, we'll be 100% honest about this. We did have to do a little bit of cleanup, and the cleanup that we were doing off of that, pretty much is that you're going to get small little hairs like this. So, which we had to clip off. It's not that big of a deal. But just know that we're working on that. That's actually part of the slicer settings, as it jumps from one part of the part to another part of the part, and it brings some of the bleed along with it as it goes over to the next part. Let's Music asks, how quickly does the PLA soften in humidity? That's a very good question. This roughly took, I want to say, the better part of about 30 minutes to dry off and to basically solidify to a particular point that we felt was okay. When we lifted it off the platform, which here's another thing. When you print with PLA, as soon as it's done, remove it from the build platform immediately. Because these types of things tend to stick, and when they stick, specifically with EPLA, it is a bear to get them off. So just keep that in mind. ABS has somewhat of the same issue, but the issue is more likely when you use a piece of acrylic. And this is a piece of acrylic that we printed on, and we have been wrenching, and we've been using just about every knife and shiv we have here in order to try and scrape it off. No. Although, you know, it gives rise to the idea that you can actually print on acrylic and it's going to stay. And when I say it stays, it stays. And it doesn't matter if the acrylic is heated up or not. When ABS goes down on the acrylic, it really sticks. And when it sticks, it doesn't want to come off. So, now, I can't talk about that. We do have a couple of things we're testing right now when it comes to acrylic, that if they turn out to be really, really good, we may not have to use the ABS juice at all. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Okay, so Eagle and Jay says, I see HYRELs on virtually every other printer. Yes, and so it's very, very common. Even on this part, we had a few individual pieces that you guys can probably see right here that we had to clip off. It's just, you know, par for course. But we're not satisfied with that. We want to get it even better than that, so that's what we're working on. And you know, this is not. Please don't take this the wrong way. Even Stratasys has this particular issue with their printers, and it's just, you know. And we love Stratasys. We love their high end quality products. They're very, 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 very well done.
Inspirational.
So very, very inspirational. Yes, thank you. So, and well, that's nice and hot. So they'll come a little bit later. So, let's see. Plexus says, I backed on Kickstarter, but not for a system. Just want to validate my assumption that I'm eligible for Kickstarter prices until October. Yes, that is correct. Because you backed us, no matter if it was $1 or all the way up, we extended those prices out for a full year. So if you still want to get on and jump onto that, please send me an email at HYREL3D@gmail.com, and I'll type it in here. So it's let me see. I got to be in the text box first. So HYREL3D, D as in Delta, @gmail.com, and we can get that ball rolling. Let's see. You also say Plexus 314 also says, also, do you have a comprehensive list of systems, differences, options, and prices that would apply to me? Yes, we do.
Good idea.
Carl has been getting on to me about getting the brochures out, and he's absolutely 100% correct. The only thing I'm missing on some of them is basically the weight when it comes to the specs of the System 23 and System 30, but everything else is pretty much good to go. So, and the pictures need to be, they're not up to my quality standard, but they're there that are inspirational, that you'll actually see them, you'll understand them, and you can go forward. So, yes, E1J, advertising. You want a job? No. So, just kidding. We know you've got this. Yeah, that job is way beneath you. Yes, E1J, you're correct. We need those brochures printed and ready for the World Maker Fair, which is going to be September the 21st and 22nd. So, if you're in the New York area, New York City area, please come out and join us. So, excellent. Thank you, E1J, sending people to my booth. Less Music, I did not forget you. It says, do you expect, Less Music asks, do you expect the PLA to stay hard or get soggy after a while?
Soggy.
That's a good question. We're going to say soggy. So, and this guy right here, He's nice. I mean, it's nice and hard. You know, there's not a lot of bend in this guy, very much, less than what the ABS is. But to be fair, this was done with a higher fill rate than this guy. So, but the PLA wise, we're wondering how well this is going to do down here in the south when it comes to the humidity.
You got a camera?
Yes, I do. And yes, since you guys know, this is not. I know I said at the very beginning this was going to be a Dan-only cast, and I know that this because of schedules, but we also have someone else here.
No one important.
So,
I'll give you a good explanation in a few minutes, but not yet.
Okay.
At least I'm not in China this time.
That's true. Hold on one second. If you can give me just a moment,
Kavan,
guys.
don't panic yet.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Let me
Here.
move the camera around just a little bit.
Alright, so you'll see that we put down the secret slurry mix. And now I'm building a raft as well, because we are making a little part here. And we're going to make this part without the heat lamp. So I just turned off the heat lamp. It just helped me preheat the bed quicker, since I just came up from nowhere. And I'm at 74. Okay. Alright, so here, just go talk to him now.
Okay.
We'll come back.
Alright. Very good. Alright, guys. There we go. Okay. Question here from Eagle 1J. Anyone have a cigar humidor to test the humidity issue on a printed object? That is a very good question.
Never even heard of that before. I guess you have to be a smoker to know what it is.
Putting this. Oh, I know what a humidor is, but
That was just a big Cuban.
That is true in some instances. Yes. Apologies to my father. Anyway, so this part right here, yeah, I guess we could test. We could test a couple PLA parts in a humidor and determine how bad it is. I think that's what you meant by doing that. Oh, there goes the button pusher. So, all right, yeah, it was swim time tonight. There you go, guys. I have someone that is afraid to go to the fair because they are afraid they won't be able to resist spending all of their money. It is very, very tempting when you go to the Maker Faire to spend a lot of money. But the best part about the Maker Fairs is the fact that you actually get to see and sometimes touch and hold the actual machines or the things that you're going to be purchasing. Also, there's a bunch of very, very smart people there who are very, very nice enough to give classes on the things and skills that they've learned. I still go back to the one that Greg's family told me about, and also Tim told me about, which was the lockpicking class that was offered at the Maker Faire, the Bay Area Maker Faire, and pretty much they got someone who was a complete novice and was able to pop open the lock in roughly 30 seconds. So very interesting stuff, so I think they would probably be spending a lot more of their time on the classes, and you can tell them about those classes that, or the presenters that are going to be showing that stuff out there. Yeah, very, very cool stuff. not saying that you're going to take the class or your friend going to take the class, but it was very, very interesting to see what they did and how they fashioned their tools too. So, oh, Powers USA, great question. Any progress on engine shipping test? In the engine shipping test. Well, these are some of the test parts. So, these are the parts that go on top of your engine, which someone has moved my cheese in this case. And if this fits and it becomes a working part, which is the top cover of your printers, the printer engines, and also the systems, then that's a successful print. So, but as you can see, 2 types of ABS and 1 type of PLA. So.
And show them the nylon.
Oh yes, yes.
The
I'm sorry.
nylon just didn't finish.
I'm sorry. And the nylon, which did not finish. So.
It didn't stick.
Yeah. That is a problem.
Well, I think we didn't stick it to the right stuff. I mean, we got to find out what it sticks to. If anybody knows what nylon sticks to, give us a shout.
Yeah. We've tried. Just to let you guys know, we've tried it on painter's tape, and well, that's lovely. We've tried it on painter's tape, and it still pulls up. So, there you go. We have not tried it on wood, which was one of the other things that on a wooden platform, which was one of the other types of build platforms that they suggest. So, Powers USA says no, the shipping box and foam. Oh, I'm sorry, I completely misread that.
What's he asking about the shipping box?
He wanted to know if we completed all the tests on the engine shipping. The engine shipping test on the...
we haven't got the accessory box locations. Okay. Everything else looks good. The corners fit. The corners fit nicely. We're happy with that. There's a slot where we designed it for the shipping, the accessories to go in. And we ordered a longer mailer. Should be here on tomorrow morning. And that was the thing that just had to kind of like frame it in because we don't want it jostling about. And then I've got the foam top that goes on. We may have those injectioned with the two-part injector. We're not sure because we haven't been successful at cutting the styrofoam the way we wanted. Truthfully, I've been upside down for the last 5 days almost. We lost our CNC on Wednesday.
Yeah.
We have been having a problem with the chatter and I learned something new. They have a thing called bell washers, Belleville washers, and they're really springs that are washers. They're oil can, and there's 26 or 40 of them, something like that, in a stack, and that's what holds the tool up inside the CNC while it's cutting. And I had no idea, I've never heard of it before, that they apparently crack, and when they crack, they let the tool get less and less tension until finally there's no tension on the tool, and it sits there and wobbles around in the cutter, and we get this huge chatter. And lately it just got worse and worse, and finally I found out what it was, and it took us until today at 2 o'clock to get it back up. And normally this wouldn't be a problem, so I called our trusty machinist thinking he could help us out. He answered the phone in a giddy tone, and informed me he was in New Orleans for the week. And I'm not going to say where he was, but when I said don't go to any of the clothing optional bars, he said too late. So I think he had a good trip already in some ways. Anyway, that's why I'm still here. We just got the machine back up running, and we're pushing hard to get everything out the door, and it set us back by a few days. And now we made a lot of progress printing, because while I wasn't machining, waiting for parts to arrive from the West Coast, we did a lot of printing. If you could be kind enough to pass me the camera.
Absolutely.
I will show you now that we're done with the raft. I think you guys will find this to be a different part than the one you're used to. I'm not going to make any claims, but this is a very practical part. Oh, I like this one.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you can see it or not.
Oh yeah, that's showing it beautifully.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Do not attempt to adjust your TV set. So what this is a secret, but it won't be a secret when it's finished. So let's see if we can get this thing to print all the way through. This is our second attempt at printing it. The first attempt is over here. Did you already show that to him?
A little bit.
Okay, well, I guess you guys might recognize this, but I don't know why. So I tell you what, how about I give you a sneak preview on the screen of what it is? You want them to see on the
Sure.
G-code? Man, I love that finish. I'd buy this printer. That's the idea. Okay, so just in case you guys can't tell, I'm going to pull up on the screen, and I can't see too good, so there we go. How's that? Can you see it?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And the idea is you're looking at the bottom view of it, and so this is a real part. Believe it or not, we're printing a real part. And we'll see if it works out. Here you go.
Excellent. Thank you, Carl. Okay.
Just in case anybody wants to know why this failed, it
Yes.
lifted off the bed.
So,
And I mean, it's just if anybody wants to know.
yeah, the actual part by itself, as you guys can see there, it warped a little bit. There you go.
So I had put just okay. You got to understand, I'm a mess.
I think we both are.
Well, not to say. Oh yeah, we've both been running the mini.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Here we go. I'm gonna scoot on over and.
Okay.
22 seconds.
Plexus asks, when will the product comparison price chart be made available? Where can we get it?
Product comparison price chart. You're not allowed to buy this thing.
The first one for the engines is already up online, and just so anybody, whoever wants to know, those will be the pre-orders that are the pre-order prices that are there are going to be going away pretty soon. So there it goes.
Okay, so we're both 30 because we've been taking turns running the CNC since I got it going at 3:30 today. There's a lot of parts in the backlog. We're going to be running it nearly around the clock. I am still traveling north. Plan is to go up tomorrow, and then I'm only going to take 1 or 2 printers with me. I'm going to come back home for the weekend, and then I'm going back up again with another half dozen printers. We just, when the CNC went down, I wasn't able to get the finishing touches put on a couple, well, on the Y-axis parts. We've been holding them off, and it killed me. So I apologize, and I would have sent out more notice sooner, but I didn't know how long it would be before we get it back up. And the first question everybody asks when we say we're in a bind, they go, well, when? And I couldn't tell anybody when, so I just held it off. I did let the 2 people that I had scheduled to see already know what was going on, so don't think we're totally flaky, just 22% flaky. And so, let that part keep cooking.
All right, guys, it looks like the cast is acting kind of weird. If you can hold on just for 1 second, I'm going to try and see if I can change the settings on the camera. So.
I'm going to flip the part, I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. That's a lot better. Okay. That's the one thing that is kind of weird about XSplit, especially with this camera, is the fact that if you don't get your frame rate just tuned just right, it doesn't come across very, very well. Perfect. Okay. That's much better. Sorry about that. Let's see. Product comparison price chart. First part for for all the engine stuff is already up on the web. The systems are coming next because there's a question on how we do the heads. And maybe some of you guys have a much better idea about this than I do when it comes to when it comes to actually selling the printers or whatever in this kind of case. We can sell a printer and then sell the heads individually, or we can bind them together into individual packages, and that's what we did for the engines that are up there online. Now, when it comes to the systems, we know that we have the System 23 and we know we have the System 30. But the question is do we also offer the heads along with them, or do we add add-on packages that everyone can choose because we've got different heads now? It's now just not just plastic anymore. It's basically because you're going to be able to do all these other materials right there. So that's been a matter of debate that's been going back and forth here in the office on what's the best value and how do you communicate the best value out there for the systems as we move forward, which may change the actual SKUs that you see out there for the engines as well. So, when that's available, I can shoot it to you. I'll put it up, actually, if you send me an email, I'll shoot it to you, and I'll also, at the same time,